the render here.
It should be at the bottom of the article. Yeah.
Is
Yeah.
that it?
Just like that.
All right, let me pull that up. And so this is what you're talking about.
Yeah. So that little blue area is the actual stage with the seating. Behind it is those office spaces. So you'll see we actually have the kind of like office space for where, I might be during the day on the bottom left. Then we have a conference room that could be used for team meetings. We have the analyst booth and the production studio. And so those rooms are interchangeable. And with a slightly bigger space, you could throw a couple more of those rooms on because they're pretty small. But that little bitty room in the top right could run all of them. You could have 4 guys in there with 4 different streams going on, and the entire rest of the facility be empty. And that would be plenty.
Yeah.
And that's what's nice about these facilities is it's an upfront cost, but the actual cost of running them is almost non-existent.
Mm-hmm.
You have your normal expenses of owning a building, but for the events, they really make up for it. We see it in Dallas. They have Arlington. They have the Arlington Esports Arena, and it's insane. It is the esports arena for
Arlington,
people to look
Texas?
at. Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
It's amazing. That is the flagship. The city really went in on that. Like, they put an insane amount of money in it, and I would never expect us to have something like that because, truthfully, it's a bit excessive. We don't need that, but it is like, if you're going to build an esports arena, you look at that one and you say, that's what I'm modeling this on.
There's a market for everything. And I was telling you about my son's archery earlier, right?
Yeah.
And if you go down to, I guess it's kind of near Gunnersville, there's this, it's like a warehouse. And what they've done is they have basketball courts in there.
Okay.
I'm assuming they might even do something like they might have like roller skating.
That's pretty cool.
And but then they run the archery there, right? And Alabama does a really good job. I would say nationwide, if you have archery, they do a really good job. They figured this out where, like, over 3 days, they'll have like 2,000
oh my gosh.
athletes, participants come through.
Wow.
So everyone has a flight time. So, and let's say it's like, the 4th graders show up, and the 4th graders are on Thursday, and they're going to shoot from 10 to 2, and they have like 50 minutes. Everyone's going to shoot at 3 targets. From our 10-meter targets, and then there's like 15-meter targets.
Okay.
And then they switch, and it's very structured. And by buses are coming and going, kids are coming and going. Parents, and my son might do like Saturday at 2. Well, then he qualifies and goes to nationals.
Yeah.
In Louisville, and then he qualified for Worlds in Myrtle Beach. And it just continues, right? Where you just go to and then you go to those places, and they're the huge convention centers.
Like, this is sick.
And there's thousands and thousands of people coming through, right? And the vendors are there that are either selling apparel, or they're selling gear, or equipment for archery, right? And it turns into a convention. And I'm like, of course there's something for esports. And if you build a facility, they will come. And if you run it down to the elementary school level, they will come. The intermediate school, oh my gosh, right? I just have this vision with you. I'm excited where I could just see it.
Yeah. The SEL is, I didn't want to get too much into it because it's a whole thing at the end, I figure. The SEL, we're currently collegiate, right? Our game plan next is high school. Bob Jones went to they won the state championship.
Did they?
Actually at Eplex, which was an esports
In Birmingham?
facility in Birmingham. We know it's crazy. Bob Jones is right next to Huntsville. So if we had a Huntsville esports arena, it'd be right there. Our whole goal is, with an esports arena, with the SEL, one, it's a recruitment pipeline for the colleges to hopefully eventually legitimatize it, set up scholarships, set up a recruitment pipeline for the clubs to find members, for the teams and the sports teams when they get varsity to then recruit from high schools, the same way you would baseball, football, volleyball, whatever, and make that pipeline. And the nice thing about this facility here in Huntsville is UH could practice at it, Calhoun can practice at it, Alabama A&M can practice at it, all of the high schools can practice at it. There you go. There's your ROI.
Yeah.
Now the schools are using it as a facility. And it's a lot cheaper for them to rent that, 1 day a week than it is build out the same thing for $5 million at their school.
Yeah.
And now they get a state-of-the-art facility where they could even come and practice with the colleges. There you go. More recruitment. The colleges can come in on the day that, Bob Jones is practicing. Everybody wants the Bob Jones kids because they killed it. They came to our SEL because they wanted to come to ChargerCon, and they beat some of the college teams.
Really?
The kids were out there just they beat people that got to our top 3, and I was like, what is going on? Like, the parents were there and they were proud, and like that's what made me so happy that day was some of the colleges' parents came out. And
Yeah.
when we start seeing that more with esports, that's when these facilities can become something big. Thursday afternoon, you go see, like what you were saying, you go on that day and you see your kid do some archery. Parents can come out and see the kids do esports. And they can see that what they do at home is now translating to something that when the college recruiter comes out, it's the same as baseball when the dads are like, yeah, that's my son out there.
That's my
same
son.
thing.
Yeah.
You know, same with archery. My son just hit that right there. Okay, cool.
Absolutely.
Esports. My son just hit that aerial right into the goal. All the same. And once we have that mentality and once we have those resources, like you said, I mean, worlds is the limit. I mean, those kids will go from the Huntsville Esports Arena, and we don't want to be, the world's best esports arena. We want to be the Southeast's esports arena.
Right.
It's that simple. We just want to be the place for esports in the Southeast.